Hey everybody, this is Ed from the Whiskey Tangent Podcast, here with another Whiskey Shorts. I'm here with Scott.
Hey everybody.
And we're going to do another one of our famous Quick Tastes.
All right.
This one is our birthday edition. So I purchased today's specimen in the spirit of Scott's birthday, which was this week, and he's going to tell you what I bought him and what we're going to do.
All right. So this is a brand that you can't get in New Jersey. It's very rare. This is W.L. Weller Special Reserve. Whiskey Short. It's a wheated bourbon. It's been compared to Pappy Van Winkle because it's made from the same mash bill as the newer Pappy Van Winkles. It is Buffalo Trace's wheated mash bill. Now, they don't tell you what that is, but it's purported to be 70% corn, 16% wheat, and 14% malted barley.
Right, so it's a very small amount of wheat, though.
Yeah, technically wheated bourbon, but not that much.
Right.
The proof is 90, and there's no age statement, but it used to be 7 years, so it's probably a little less than that.
It's pretty close from what I've seen.
And Ed has done the research on this because this was for my birthday. So
right, he didn't know he was going to get it today, so it was like a blind quick taste for him. But he made me give him like an hour to knock out some research on the other products and all, because you know him. So Buffalo Trace is kind of a conundrum for me as a distillery. We've highlighted some of their products in the past, and to me, they make all these wonderful whiskeys that we're simply not allowed to have. Okay, so first of all, we have Pappy, and then there's Rip Van Winkle, and there's Old Man Wrinkle, and there's Little Man Wrinkle, and Little Man Winkle's first cousin Biff Winkle. And we can't have any of them.
You're just making things up.
I am. Well, they're making things up, because when you make whiskey that no one can drink, then what the fuck? It's like if a tree falls in the forest and no one hears it, doesn't make a sound. Well, if you make a whiskey no one can drink, it isn't any good. So if someone's drinking it, I don't know who's spending $1,500 for your bottle of Pappy, but you're obnoxious. Okay, Buffalo Trace? You're an obnoxious company. And now it's filtered down that my beloved Eagle Rare, which was one of my favorite 10 years, that was $38 and always there, now can't find that anywhere.
It's literally rare.
It's finally Eagle Rare. It was always called Eagle Rare and it wasn't rare. So I used to mock you for the name. And now, it says you make nearly 2.6 million liters of whiskey as a distillery, which sounds like a lot, but I don't feel like that's a lot to me. If you made 3.6 million liters, maybe we could drink some of it. And if not a line, well, I'm sorry, but what am I supposed to do? You're like a mirage to me, okay? You're like a unicorn. Like I hear about these products, so good, so good. And then I go to find them and they're in the aftermarket for $399.
Yeah.
The one that we're doing today, I found a liter on W.L. Weller Special Reserve for $113. And I'm told that the 750 is supposed to retail for like around $25 or under.
I saw it in the store, not the full liter one. I saw a $65 for the 750 milliliter one. But
good price.
But it was behind the glass. Like they only put the $100 plus ones behind there, and this was $65. I'm like, what is it doing behind the glass? It's because it's so rare. You can't find it around here.
Right,
and they know that. So somebody gets a bottle of it and they're going to charge you.
Right. So this is an online price. And that was free shipping, by the way. Okay. That's without shipping. Good for you. But the thing is, you're not making that money. A lot of this money you're not making.
Yeah.
That can't make you happy if you're Buffalo Trace.
Yeah.
And you make such great stuff. Colonel E.H. Taylor, George T. Stagg, Blantons. Also, can't find Blantons anywhere, you know that. And you send all the good stuff to Japan. See, there's so many things we have to talk about, you and me. We need like couples therapy, Buffalo Trace and me.
You are a little angry. It's supposed to be my birthday.
It is. Well, I'm mad because of how hard it is for us to drink their product. And yet I cannot find 30 bottles of Buffalo Trace. Your standard Buffalo Trace is everywhere.
Yeah.
All right. Which is a fine little bourbon, but it's nothing special. But yet there it is, 12 deep on every shelf I go into, with the empty Eagle Rare right next to it and the empty Blantons right above it. I'll be honest, a couple bottles of E.H. Taylor, I can find E.H. Taylor. They're going to be like $100, but I can find them on the shelf. And they're very good. And I'm happy to have them, and I thank you for them. But honestly, it shouldn't be this hard to buy whiskey from Buffalo Trace and drink it.
Well, it's true. This W.L. Weller, you go to the liquor store, and if they had it on the shelf, everyone's already bought it because somebody like searching for it forever, and they've been calling around. And it's not just one person. It's probably 30 people. And so there's a lot of people disappointed that they can't get this. So we have never tasted it.
Which is why we're doing this, because we've heard people talking about, it's like Pappy Jr. and all that. And so today we're going to try it. All right. We've done Maker's Mark. We've done Larceny. We've done some local weeded bourbons. Scott likes the Last Feather Rye from Journeyman, which is a wheated rye.
Right.
So we have been dipping our toe into weeded spirits, and we're excited to try this one.
So before we taste it, do you want to talk about the history of the brand?
So, I mean...
Are you going to hate on that too?
No. I mean, I'm only mad at Buffalo Trace because I want to drink their whiskey, and somehow they're not letting me.
Okay.
Or they're not helping me.
No, I got you.
All
But who was W.L. Weller?
W. Weller, the man, was born in Kentucky in 1825, and his claim to fame was the weeded bourbon produced by his wholesale whiskey business.
Okay.
Which was prized for its smoothness. Among distillers, wheat is known for its softness compared with corn,
Yes.
which is sweet, and rye, which has spice, and sometimes emphasized in a mash bill. And so his distillery went on until 1935. This would be emerging from Prohibition. And Weller's business was combined with the Stitzel Distillery, which was owned by a former Weller salesman, the ever-famous Julian Pappy Van Winkle. So that Stilcher Weller Distillery was later sold and closed in 1972. Today, it's actually the visitor center for Bullet Bourbon.
Oh, that's where the Bullet Bourbon Visitor Center is.
That's right. So Sazerac purchased the Weller brand in 1999 and has since produced it at the Buffalo Trace Distillery, the same place that they produce Pappy. And by the way, Stitzel, we should say, was one of the 6 distilleries that survived through Prohibition, had the medical license.
They made it all the way through Prohibition and in 1972 closed it?
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, but that's a good 40 years. And
thanks, Gerald Ford.
Yeah, right.
Just random.
Random Ford belligerent. And Ford only took over last years for Nixon, so you got to blame Nixon, because if Nixon didn't do Watergate, then Ford wouldn't have been in charge when the distillery closed.
No, it was Ford!
Random Belligerents. Gerald Ford edition.
So go ahead.
All right,
Talk about what we should taste, and then we'll taste it, and then we'll talk about the other expressions of it, of the Weller.
So I looked up a few, because the first one I looked up, I went to Whiskey Jug, and he wasn't very complimentary of it. So when he's not complimentary of something, I try to look for somebody else to get like a contrasting opinion. So the second one I got was much nicer, I guess we would say.
Right.
It was so nice, and yet the score that he gave it was similar to Whiskey Jug. So I looked up a third one, and that was really not complimentary. So I just want to go through the palates of each of the 3, because they're kind of different. Okay. And then we'll taste it and figure out what it tastes like to us. So Whiskey Jug says, caramel steals the show with some citrus, toffee, cinnamon, wood, and baking spices. Vanilla and dark fruit play more of supporting roles, and there's a strong streak of ethanol. The Whiskey Writer says cherry cough syrup at first, then oak, allspice, orange zest, some chili powder, dark chocolate, and a good mouthfeel. The Whiskey Wash, which was the least complimentary, said light-bodied, starts with a floral flavor of rose water and some faint acetone. Mid-palate is all limestone and sweet, corny heat.
Acetone.
None of those 3 agree.
Right.
So that's why I wanted to do that, because I don't know what it's supposed to taste like now.
Yep. So on the nose, I mean, I'm getting a little bit of the ethanol.
I'm getting the caramel and cherry.
It's almost like a savory smell to me, too, though. Like a cooked meat almost, somewhere in the background there, like a smoke or something.
That's crazy.
But not smoky on the taste at all.
Oh, you tasted it?
I did.
Oh, that's not what I thought it was going to taste like from the smell.
It's interesting.
You know, it is strong alcohol flavor, stronger than I would have expected from a 90 proof. I'm definitely getting caramel.
Very traditional bourbon notes. Vanilla, caramel.
Cinnamon.
Definitely cinnamon on finish for me. Wow. It certainly is not as terrible as some of the reviews I read said it was going to be.
You know, if you take a bigger sip of it, you get more of a cherry flavor. Like the one guy says cherry cough syrup, which doesn't sound good.
I have some on the cube over here, and it's been melting just a little bit. It's taken the fire off, but I'm still, as I'm done the sip and it's been out of my mouth for about 30 seconds, I'm still getting like a spicy burn, and it has got enough heat to give me what was referred today to me by somebody who's in the whiskey industry as a Kentucky hug in your chest from the warmth of the whiskey going down. And
yeah, I'd never heard that before.
I think I'm going to definitely borrow that, because I know what he means by like a little.
Yeah. You know, I like it. I don't really see why people seek after it with such fervor.
Yeah, I wish we had some larceny here, because I got a feeling larceny would be right with it. And it's very common and very easy to find, and that this probably has a lot of hype to do with it.
This tastes really good on ice.
Yes, it does. Much better than neat.
Yeah, and I'm a person who likes to drink it neat, and this absolutely tastes better with an ice cube in it.
Yeah, and I should say it's got a wonderful color. It's a very deep, rich amber, like literally like Jurassic Park amber. Stick a dinosaur DNA in there. No, honestly, we have a liter of it, so I'm going to get some Larceny. We won't do it today, but I'm going to taste it, and we'll report back.
We'd definitely make cocktails with this, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's no reason that, well, except when you spend $113 for it, you don't want to just dump it into an old-fashioned.
That's also true. So speaking of that, and the pricing, the other Weller expressions. The first one is the Weller Full Proof, which is the same mash bill. It's just bottled at 114 proof.
Okay.
Its tasting notes are balance of caramel and toasted oak. The finish is long with notes of creme brulee and chocolate. That's interesting. Its MSRP is about $50, but you can't find it for anything less than $400.
Yeah, that's the truth. I did look at that.
The Weller 12-year, it's the special reserve, again, aged longer. Almond, creamed corn, toasted vanilla with a long, oaky, and intensely smooth finish. Its MSRP is $65, but you can't find it for like under $250. So it's cheaper than the Full Proof, but still twice as much as we paid for this.
Yeah.
Well, Ed paid for it. Thank you. Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday, Scott.
The Weller Single Barrel, bottled at 97 proof, caramel and baking spices with hints of cocoa explode on the palate with a finish of cinnamon, coffee, and a hint of pepper. So it kind of tastes like what this tastes like, but just more intense.
And I think I saw that for like 200.
Well, I just did a cursory look, so it's possible. The MSRP for this one, again, is only like 50, but I saw it in the 700s. Weller Antique 107 proof, well balanced with sweet fruit notes, strong vanilla undertones, and sharp spicy tones with a cinnamon finish. A full bottle on Max Liquor, $2,399.95. Fuck me. God damn. That's ridiculous.
Take that, Pappy. In your face. You can have dinner with Paul McCartney or buy one of our bottles of whiskey.
They have something called Weller CYBP, which stands for Craft Your Perfect Bourbon. That's bottled at 95 proof. We were on yourperfectbourbon.com in our episode. Which one did we do? Buffalo Trace and
Eagle Rare.
Eagle Rare. That was 4. We went on there at that site and we made our own bourbon, right? And then it tells you what bourbon that it's like so that you can go out and buy what you consider your own perfect bourbon. Well, they'd compiled all of the results from people doing that and they created their own Weller expression.
Did you? Because nobody can buy it or drink it. So
well, that's true. $500 for the CYPB. One last expression. William Laurie Weller, his full name, barrel proof. So the same stuff again, but in the 120s.
Okay.
Marshmallow, salted almonds, nougat, figs, and dates.
Okay.
About $2,000.
Yeah, I was going to buy a car, but let's just buy 2 bottles of that. Call it a day. So if the brand ambassador for Buffalo Trace or any of their executives are listening to this and you think I'm being salty, understand my premise here. I want to try and drink and enjoy your products. And yet somehow I can't do that. That's your fault, not my fault. Make some more whiskey, or how about cut the production of Buffalo Trace by 12% and make that into whiskey that we all want to drink. All right, the Buffalo Trace is fine, but there's plenty of it. You got it covered, guys. You're doing a great job with the Buffalo Trace, and it's okay. It's not as good as Eagle Rare, and they used to be like $4 apart. Now I can't even find Eagle Rare. When I do, it's $10 more than it was last year. Are you getting that money, Buffalo Trace? Are you?
Yeah, and it's almost as if they want to encourage the secondary market, which doesn't, as you said, profit them.
Gives you mystique. I mean, Buffalo Trace has a lot of swag
Yeah.
off of this issue, but think about what I'm saying. Eagle Rare was the best product that you guys had that we could find and drink, and now it's gone. And you have so many expressions that are just a myth. You're like Bigfoot. It's like I saw your bottle run behind a tree the other day.
Someone took a grainy photo in Scotland on a loch, and your whiskey was in
Exactly. It's like Loch Ness whiskey.
Holy shit. All right. I think that we got to end it now.
We have to end it for the ever hard to find, never photographed Pipsqueak whiskey.
Weller Bourbon.
All right, everybody, listen. The Special Reserve W.A. Weller, it certainly lacks the finish of an elite spirit, but the flavor, Scott, right? Vanilla, caramel, it's nice, right?
Yeah, for an unbiased opinion, because I didn't pay any money for it. Ed's salty, but I'm not. like I said, put a little water on it. It tastes fine. I would probably say that it tastes for me in the $40 range, maybe $45. It's a fine expression of bourbon.
Right. So the bourbon business is not a quick business. You know, you're not putting out vodka. It takes 7, 8, 10, 12 years for you to get your expressions the way you want them.
Yeah.
So maybe you have stuff in the works right now to give us more to answer these problems that I've laid out for you.
And it used to say 7 years on the bottle. So they took the age statement off it because probably they couldn't make enough to keep up with demand.
Maybe they'll get it back like Knob Creek. Maybe they won't. But
Maybe.
The point is, I want my Eagle Rare back, first of all. And I want it for around $45 or under. That's number one. And two, I want more Weller. I want to try the other Weller expressions.
Yeah.
And I don't mind spending $100 or under on them, but I don't want to go over it. I don't want some wholesaler paying you $35 and I'm paying them an extra $65 to drink your whiskey. That's bullshit. Okay? All right. Let's not have this talk again.
Okay.
For the Whiskey Tangent podcast on the Double H Weller birthday edition, I'm Ed.
I'm Scott.
And have a fantastic whiskey day. Keep chasing your dreams. Unicorns are out there.
Later.